My name is Elizabeth Lowe, and I will be reading from my translation of António Lobo Antunes' novel, Midnight is Not in Everyone's Reach. This book is a finalist for the 2025 Big Other Book Award for Translation. Thank you to John Madeira and Big Other for this opportunity. And also thank you to my editor, Chad Post at Deep Vellum Dalkey Archive Press for his careful work with my manuscript. António Lobo Antunes, a prolific Portuguese novelist whose multi-layered narratives dissected the fault lines of Portuguese society, made him a literary giant in his native country. He died in Lisbon on March 26, 2026. He was 83 years old. He published more than 30 novels and collections of other writers. His adventurous approach to form allowed him to transcend his identity as a often very difficult writer, and he was on many critics' lists for the Nobel Prize. His work as a doctor provided him a lens through which he explored the psychology of a diminished nation. For 27 months, he served as an army medic in his country's war in Angola, witnessing the brutality of Portugal's futile attempts to keep its African colonies. One of his great themes is the multi-generational trauma of those colonial wars. His novels experiment with narrative form, and his style is very unique. It's polyphonic, and it delves into the treachery of memory. This novel is about a middle-aged woman who returns to the beach home where she grew up as a child outside of Lisbon, and revisits the house where she and her family spent their summers. She is in mourning still after many years for the suicide death of her brother. The first scene is when she goes back to the house, and it is dated August 26, 2011. I awoke in the middle of the night, certain that the ocean was calling me through the closed shutters. I turned my head in the direction of the window, and I felt it looking at me just the way the sound of the pines was looking at me, and the voices of my parents at the end of the hall looking at me. Everything was looking at me in the dark, repeating my name. I asked, "What did I do?" And there was silence. The ocean and the pines disappeared from the window. "Where did you go, all of you?" And my silent parents. "If we lose the ocean and the pines, there will be almost nothing left. A few roof tiles, the reeds, the sand, without the tracks of the gulls. Early in the morning, just the garbage from the tides that the lifeguards had not yet swept. Driftwood, oil cans. I was 5. My brothers were 7 and 9. I won't speak of my older brother. We don't speak of him. There he is, smiling at me. Hey, girl. Riding his bike to the beach with me on the back, which hurt a little, happy and frightened. I won't fall, I promise. And we didn't fall. When I got off the fender, I was still a little sore, but it would pass. They had placed a green flag on a post in front of the waves. From time to time, a ship passed in the distance. My father would be sleeping, a newspaper folded on his chest, on the sofa. That is, it looked like he was sleeping because his mouth was open. He didn't have gray hair, and he wasn't sick. He had not died. My mother was talking with the next-door neighbor. "Do I have to keep telling you not to ride with the girl on the bike? She'll break a leg. You never stop." My not deaf brother and my deaf brother threw things at each other, and my deaf brother, you'd shout his name, and he didn't turn toward us. He started to cry. My hair was already not black like my father's, dyed blonde. My mother to the neighbor, cleaning off my deaf brother's face with a towel. "Do you see what I put up with?" At the far end of the beach on the rocks leading to the lake, there was an abandoned building with the sign Alto da Vigia, shellfish and drinks, fading into the limestone walls, where after dinner the gypsies would get together to plan to rob us. Mother said, "I hope they rob all of you, so you shut up about it." Although you couldn't see anyone with a wooden leg and bags to put us in, I saw them do it with kittens, and the bag wiggled. They lowered the bag into the laundry sink, and it stopped wiggling. They buried it in a hole in the corner of the yard and ordered us, "Go away." Only my deaf brother stayed, trying to kick up the dirt with his feet, and I said to him, "Don't be upset." And a blackbird sang 2 notes in the pines. Why get upset about a bag that dripped blood and the mother cat sniffing around? I didn't have children. I had one, and I lost it. Where did they bury it? My husband said. They didn't put it in a hole, and it wasn't a baby yet. While the bike slowly made its way up the hill to the house, I remember the sound of the bell. The mailman rang it loudly. I arrived in the morning to say goodbye to the house. The week we turned in the keys, the trees were offended with me. One notices those feelings. How mean of you to leave us. They won't look at me tonight. They'll pretend to forget who I was. Rooms stripped of furniture, a piece of paper to the right, and on the floor to the left, remains of mattress stuffing where my bed was. The same ants as before in the kitchen, but the shelves missing pots and pans. A package of sugar, closed with a clothespin, alone in the pantry, and the memory of my father looking for a bottle in the pantry. I responding to his haste that had ceased to exist, his shaking fingers letting go of my memories. There are no more bottles, Father.